A truly touching story coming out of Hollywood. While mourning the death of her husband, Frank Gifford, Kathie Lee Gifford has gained an overwhelming social following because of her tribute, her powerful tribute that she did to her husband on the Today Show. Football legend Frank Gifford died on August 9th, and when Kathie returned to her anchor chair this week alongside host Hoda, she shared a powerful message of faith and gratefulness. That message struck a chord with more than 19 million people who shared her emotional TV message this week. Watch this.
He knew what hard work was. He never had an entitled moment in his life. And we will miss him so much. We all keep expecting him to come around the corner. I keep expecting him to go, you know, what time is church? You know, he passed away instantly that morning, all dressed in what he knew was my favorite outfit, white shirt, very tight black jeans. He knew he looked good. Having his coffee, watching his TV, getting ready to go, ready for church, and excited about what we're going to have for lunch. I'm grateful that the Lord took him that way, because the only thing Frank has ever been afraid of his entire life was being a burden to those he loved.
Oh, such an emotional show today. I swear I'm like in verge of crying. I want to bring back my guest, Lauren Lake, back in now with me, and Kristen Klingshirn here too. She's also the co-host of The Burt Show and is also with us via Atlanta. Lauren, more than 19 million people saw that on Facebook, shared it on Twitter as well. Why do you think Kathie Lee's message was something that people just had to see?
Because it was about faith. It was about understanding the circle of life, understanding that she led off and said, the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. And the fact that she believes through her faith that she will see her husband again. I think it was such a human presentation that just struck the chord for all of us, because we've all lost loved ones. I found myself tearing up, and when she said, he passed away instantly, I thought about losing my own mother and those feelings of grief, but understanding that through our faith, we take that one step at a time each day to try to learn how to live without them. And it doesn't get easy. I love when she talked about he was never entitled to anything. Things that we never heard about him. Yeah, he was a football star. They even had, very public issues with their marriage that people knew. But ultimately, this was a man that had faith, and I loved her presentation about his legacy.
I did too. She also shared a story about a trip to the Holy Land. She and Frank visited the place where it's believed that the biblical hero David killed the giant Goliath with a stone. Kathie Lee explained how that shaped the rest of Frank's life.
Towards the end, after that trip, Hoda, because you came with Joel, if somebody wanted to see his trophy room, they went into it, and he didn't take them to the bust at the end of his Hall of Fame. Yeah. He didn't take them to see his Emmys or his rings or all of his trophies. He took them straight over to the stone that we brought back from the Brook of Ela. Frank would want you to do this today. If you see a stone somewhere, pick it up and ask yourself that question: what is my stone? What is the gift that only I can do in this world to make it a better place? And then spend the rest of your life trying to throw it well.
Hashtag Find Your Stone was huge after that. Kristen, do you think people were so drawn to this because it's rare that you hear celebrities talk about their faith, but Kathie Lee was so open to this?
Thanks, Roxy. Yeah, I'm so glad I get to talk about this particular portion of Kathie Lee's tribute to Frank, because this is the one that struck a chord with me the most. And this is the portion that we played on the air because I thought it's such a beautiful and powerful message for people to really get the perspective of what they're doing in this world and to make it a better place. And I think Kathie was she was so authentic, she was so real, she was so vulnerable, and that is so relatable. I mean, she's been sharing her life since she was on with Regis, and this is nothing new to her. Obviously, this was probably one of the most tragic things that's ever happened to her, but she handled it with such grace and such humility, and the way she spoke of her husband, and I think she did such a huge service to his legacy and to their relationship and to their faith.
She did, and she also revealed how humble Frank was, despite, rising to legendary status in TV and in the NFL. Lauren, what do you think impacts everybody the most about Frank's story, and could other celebrities today take a lesson from him?
That from nothing you can become something, and that when you gain the world, never to lose your soul and your faith. And most importantly, as we just talked about, find your stone. Find it. We each have a gift that we're given. that we need to offer to this world. I tell people all the time, this ain't no dress rehearsal, baby. You better get on the stage and shine. You got one life to live. And I think ultimately what she was able to convey is that her husband lived that life. He was not free of sin or mistakes, but he held on to his faith, and he threw his stone. So many of us we don't have the courage to throw our stone. We're walking around with the stone in our hand or too afraid to look for it. No, baby. This is the time. And we all want our legacy. What a legacy to encourage others to do the same.
Lauren, I'm even more motivated to go find my stone. Thank you for that.
You know what? I think that, Lauren, we're going to have to change you from Judge Lauren Lake to Pastor Preacher to Lauren Lake. I'm just saying, having a moment.
Can I get a witness?
Lauren, yes. Amen. Amen. I think we all need a little bit of church and some faith after today. Lord have mercy.